to claim, to mimic. I'm doing this for the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because, they know vast majority of people, obviously that's one thing we all agree upon, that we all should love the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, that is, they can just make claims of that. I was like, okay, I don't know the law, so he says he's and he'll give it, he can give examples of stories of, of Pir Abdul Qadir Jilani and Hazrat Khidr. Look, he's murdered somebody, a child in the Quran here, and he's ship, he broke down a boat.
I know what you're trying to say.
So, and they can use these ways of saying that, look, it's not black and white. See, as soon as you convince somebody it's not black and white, and you put them, that you make them realize there is a gray area. Look, all these gray areas in the Quran here. Look at Musa alayhi salam slapping somebody. Look at Khidr alayhi salam killing someone. So you make these, and this is Quran. You're not messing about here. So, okay, there is a gray area, right? Now, that's a world you don't know about. These are gray areas to me. You understand? And and then it puts a question mark on everything. Okay, it's not black and white. And then, what do I know of the Prophet ﷺ? He might show a very rare hadith of something of the Prophet ﷺ. That's a test a person's iman. And so he might display that one or two hadiths. It's all rehearsed. It's all rehearsed. He's not gone to, like, for instance, like we went to the Jami Tirmidhi and Sunan Abu Dawud. Before that, I never referenced a hadith. If I ever mentioned the hadith, I never referenced it. I just mentioned from which teacher I've heard it from.
Right. Okay.
Because I felt like it's an easy way to deceive somebody that I've studied that book. This is my personal, like, like somebody said, it's mentioned in the Jami Tirmidhi. Oh, subhanAllah, he must have studied Jami Tirmidhi with his teacher.
Rather than say that, you said I heard it from so. It could be in a talk, it could be an event.
It's mostly from teacher the books. Even though the books will give references where I normally mention, basically I like to mention the books that I've studied, that I've heard it from, not necessarily from the actual source, because it makes it look like as if I've studied those advanced books, and I haven't.
If you read into the 40 hadith Imam Nawawi, and Imam Nawawi says in Bukhari, he says in Bukhari hadith, and Bukhari says this, but you didn't study Bukhari.
So what's giving you the right to really reference? Because I saw somebody do that. He mentioned Mustadrak of Ibn Hakim, so I know that individual has never even opened that book.
Not many people have.
Exactly, right? But he heard another Shaykh say, and then he mentioned, I'll explain to you what Mustadrak is. I know that person never even opened the book of Mustadrak. But it made him, it kind of it puts an impression in front of people who don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you kind of bigger than what you are. And I think that's a problem. But what my point is this, that in terms of recognizing a person of Allah, using there's tactics out there that you can say, okay, law, question mark. He loves the Prophet. He's always mentioning the Prophet. Okay, and now this person is asking me to transfer.
PayPal.
My wealth in my pocket is dirt, but in your pocket is diamonds. Right. So
I never heard of this stuff, but it's good stuff.
So do you get what I'm trying to say? So, like, what does the normal public do in the sense of recognizing that when they've not got enough knowledge of the Sharia, they don't know how to identify because they've not traveled. See, when you've been with people of Allah, and then you can really recognize that, this doesn't make sense.
100%. I think that you're right, that people on the journey or developing, what do you do? Who's right, who's wrong? It's not easy to decipher and figure it out. But I think there is a very basic rule, right? That if somebody's asking for money, for worldly gain, for take advantage of you, I mean, they might not see it as that. They might not, the manner is hard sometimes, right? I gotta, see that as a perspective. But we've got to be better. I got to say that as well. We've got to be a bit more clued up, right? We're all quick in our businesses and dealings and this and that and jobs. And when it comes to Deen, we're sort of like, simple and of course. Like,
very
passive or just shut down or don't use our brains almost, right? No, we've got to be better. We've got to see that, look, if somebody's taking advantage of me, somebody's asking me for, and people do feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, how can that be good? How can somebody who's trying to bring you close to Allah and feel, like you're being a better person, ask you for something which is, taking advantage of you, is taking your wealth, is, you know, I've even had people say they've taken our time. They've said, do this, do that, and they've taken hours and hours, and then they made money out of it, obviously.
Yeah.
And they haven't paid us, or they didn't, you know, we were thought we were just doing, helping them and whatever. And this crazy what's going on out there, right? So yeah, I agree there is a lot of advantage taken of people under this guise of piety or, you know, working for the deen. But I think really it goes back to the basics of life. I don't think you have to be religious. If somebody's asking you for money, and they will use religion, people have got problems, right? I think that's one issue. They've got illnesses, they've got family problems. So people come and say, we'll do dua for you, you know, we'll speak to the Shaykh for you, he'll make some duas for you, right? And they use these tactics to get people to give money or give their time or bring more people with them and so on. And they take advantage of people's problems and situations. And I think that's also a red flag. You know, you should see that. So wait a minute, stop here, right? What's going on? Warning signs here, right? You've got to see these things, right? And people in problems, in difficulties, are vulnerable. So they need to be extra careful. We need to protect them as well and educate them and so on. But it's something that we've got to really put our own, you know, foot down on for our own personal selves. You can't blame others, you know, for what happens to you if you made the decisions, right? Come on.
Somebody else was telling me this a few days ago, that they've been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And I go, you allowed yourself to be taken
That's
advantage of.
right. You know, honestly.
I go, it's the laws of the jungle.
Yeah.
Right? You mean?
100%.
As soon as somebody found somebody, that this guy's my friend, so I was being quite direct with him.
Yeah.
I go, you showed that you could be that dumb. So he thought, wait a minute, this guy's going to pay me for breathing. Pook. I mean, I honestly, I'm not indicating why, but I'm saying, you know, he's blown on you, and he wants money for it. He literally breathed on you, and you want to pay for it. Of course, he's going to take advantage of you. You understand? And it's a real issue nowadays. Honestly, it's a serious issue, and I do think there needs to be some type of governance. There needs to be some type of distinguishment, official.
I think we can, you know, I think regulating things is important, and regulation always comes with knowledge. Like, even that we have safeguarding is a good word, right? This is safeguarding as well. You go through safeguarding training, yeah. So you have things. This is, you don't be alone with a child. Yeah, you have two adults in the same place. Don't do this. Have CCTV. You know. So and what is safeguarding? It's the word speaks out loudly enough for itself. It's protecting. It's keeping people safe. It's guarding them from harm. Right. Same thing applies here. Exactly what you're saying. We've got to educate people, train people up to just see the basics. And this is the basics. You have no safeguarding training, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing complicated. It's basic. You think that's it. But yeah, we need to remind people of this, because it might be simple to you and I because we've done it or whatever. We've been through safeguarding training, or we just figured it out, right? But a lot of people haven't. A lot of people don't know these things, and they might put themselves in that dangerous position. And then when they're in that position, inevitably bad things happen.
Would you think there's such thing as spiritual grooming?